Hey guys, thanks for checking out the channel again. I have a quick job that I want to kind of just walk through the steps on, make sure that you have all the knowledge that you need if you're doing this job on your own. So this is a newer vehicle I have. It's a 2005 Buick Lacrosse, and it's the CXL trim model. So I'm only going to be doing the rear suspension here, the strut mounts, and then the stabilizer end links. So I just kind of wanted to walk through the steps and show you how to make sure that you can do this job on your own. If you have a second set of hands, that's great. More than capable to do it on your own. This is the stabilizer end link that I removed, and then the strut mount itself. So what you're gonna wanna do is, when it's up in the, like up in there, connects up in the trunk, the two main bolts that are gonna be holding in the unit itself are just two massive 21 millimeter bolts. So you will need a socket, 21 millimeter. It's got a nut holding it on the other side. For me, it did not spin at all, which was really nice. You may need a vice grip to hold the other side when you're spinning it, if that is the case for you. So when it's up in here, that is where those two bolts go right there. Holds in the knuckle, and then I just have my jack here holding up the knuckle, just to kind of support it once you take it out, so it doesn't fall and damage anything else. So this little bracket here is where you have the end link, that little piece I just showed you. So top piece has a bolt in right there. It is a 14 millimeter, and then the bottom portion is going to be here on the arm itself, the stabilizer bar. So it was a little bit more difficult, reaching and getting it from the backside. Again, vice grip's very handy. This is has 160,000 miles on the vehicle, and to my knowledge, it doesn't. And really looking at it, I wouldn't say that the suspension has ever been serviced. So basically, the only things holding it in are these two massive bolts here, 21 millimeter again. So go ahead and take those, spray them down with WD-40 first, or PB Blaster. And then have a hammer and a piece of wood just so you don't damage it. Or, in my case, I have a 4-pound sledgehammer here that I just kind of knocked it out with. One thing important to note is when you're knocking it out, make sure that you have the nut still threaded in just a little bit on the end. You don't want to damage the end of the bolt and then cause it, to not be able to go back in. You have to go out and find the same bolt and replace that. So if you're looking for a quick replacement, just make sure that you're careful not to damage that. The only other thing holding it in then here, if you go into the trunk, up here in the corner, and again, this is the right side. I'm doing both sides, but it's pretty much the exact same on both sides. It will have a dust cover on top. Take that off. And then I'll just have 3 bolts here. You can see where those are, and then one further in the back. Normal 1/2 drive, inch half drive ratchet fit in just fine. Normal size socket. And honestly, I have a breaker bar here. I didn't really ever have to use it, so honestly, that's pretty much it. The only other thing that I would say is maybe don't take out all of the bolts in the trunk before removing the actual unit, or it could fall. Again, if you have someone else here that could just hold it, it's a little bit heavy, so I'd say it's maybe like 20-25 pounds holding it here. And then the last step, take it out, look at your new piece, just make sure that they look the same. Make sure that their size the same, make sure that the where the bolts go in are going to be the same, have the same bracket that's facing the same way. It does have an R on it, so you know what's right and left with the vehicle. You just want to make sure that you're putting in the right stuff if you're doing it yourself. Same thing with the stabilizer end link. Packages inside, but just make sure that it looks right. And if you do have hardware that comes with it, if it gives you a new nut, or if it does have to be greased, make sure that you do that. If it comes pre-greased, you are good to go. So I hope this helps someone out. If you do have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time.